And I am going to go ahead and mute everyone's line. If you need to speak, you can hit *6 to unmute your line. If you're on the app, you just hit the mute button to unmute, or you can post something in the chat window. So I'm going to go ahead and mute the call. And I'd like to say welcome to all of our new myEcon associates. You guys have made what you will find to be one of the best decisions of your life. And for those of us who have been around, we will definitely tell you that this is one of the smartest decisions, that you took the time to hear some information about how to change your personal finance. You've agreed to join the movement, because this is definitely a movement to financial freedom. So welcome aboard. My name is Nicole Petaway. I am an Executive Vice President Platinum here with myEcon. I've been with myEcon about a year and a half, and I have been able to cash flow over $100,000 following the strategies that you heard about, those 5 income streams that we talked about in myEcon. So welcome aboard. You are on the road to be able to start your cash flow. And you guys, if you're working, if you're employees, you'll be seeing your cash flow coming through in a matter of a couple of weeks. And I'm going to help you get started. So my goal today is to get you quick started in the business, cover some of the basic things that you need to do to be successful in myEcon, to get your business off to a good start. And personal financial success is all about 2 key things, as you probably heard during the presentation. And I'm going to go ahead. This booklet that you see on the screen is our Quickstart orientation booklet. You can find this in your back office on your myEcon app, and it walks you through some of the basics of what we're going to do to get you started in your business. So I'm going to use this as kind of our guide and our agenda, and we'll kind of talk through this and cover some material here. So this first section about the personal financial success overview. I'm not going to read this in detail. Again, you can find this document in your back office. The key here is a couple things. One, you need to understand the objective that you're working toward with myEcon. And you've got 2 key objectives that you're going to be working toward as a new associate. Number 1 is to make sure that you have cash flow today while you're working. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, because I like to highlight things and call things out when we're online. So your first objective, again, is right here, having enough cash flow to support your lifestyle while you're working, as well as during your retirement years. That is the objective of what you're trying to accomplish. Working to get money coming in today, and then at the same time, setting yourself up to position yourself to have what required, which is 10 to 20 times what you make today is what we need for retirement. So you got 2 objectives that you're going to be working simultaneously. The other key thing that I want to call out here is our cash flow stream. So I want to remind you that part of what we do at myEcon is we're going to show you as a new associate how to generate 5 cash flow streams. So I'm going to go over those and remind you of what those are. Those are correcting your tax withholding. We're going to talk about that tonight. How you minimize taxes. We're going to cover that briefly. We're going to cover business income. How do you get started making money, an additional stream of income outside of your job? And then the other 2 are debt elimination and investing. So we won't go into debt elimination and investing tonight, but we're going to cover those first 3, correcting the tax withholding, minimizing taxes, and business income. So before I get started into each of the first one, which is correcting the tax withholding, I want to kind of cover our schedule. So as you new associates realize, we have a promotion that's underway. We call it our Christmas promo, and it is $9.95 to get started. And so this promotion will last up through January 13th. So what we've done in the Millionaire Society, which is our the group that you are a part of, is we put together a schedule. So I just want to review real quick some of the key things that's happening over the next couple weeks, even through the holidays. we're going to be running this promo through January. So the way that we've got this set up is every Monday and Wednesday, we will be doing this kind of orientation online at 7 p.m., our Quickstart. Every day at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and all these times are Eastern Standard Time, we have a corporate business presentation. I'm sorry, someone have a question? I hear someone speaking in the background. If you haven't done so, please mute your line. All right, thank you. So every night we have our webinar, our corporate presentation that Ivy Stokes does at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have in-person here in the Michigan area on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. in Lathrop Village at Panera. And then this coming Saturday, the 23rd, we have our hotel presentation in person at 10 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m. at the Embassy Suites Hotel in Southfield, Michigan. And followed by that Saturday a corporate presentation, a corporate webinar at 9 p.m. January 13th, we will be in Chicago doing presentations at 10 a.m. and noon. So this is kind of our general schedule. Now, there won't be any activity on Christmas, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Day. We will have a presentation. Now, this does not mean that you can do things on your own. If you want to quick start your own teams in person or do presentations one-on-one, that's definitely up to you. But these are the things that we're doing as a Millionaire Society. So this schedule is posted on the Millionaire Society Facebook page. And I actually posted it. So if you do a search under my name or under schedule, you will see, you'll be able to find this document and you can download it for future reference. All right, so let's get back into the orientation. So the first thing that we're going to cover is how do you start to get cash flow right away. And the W-4 is the quickest way for you as an entrepreneur to start to recognize cash flow before you even have to sell anything. So that's one of the beautiful aspects of myEcon is we're going to show you through the W-4 how to get anywhere from $200 to $1,000 coming into your household in the next couple weeks by simply filling out the W-4. So what you need to do as an associate, this is where you want to take notes with the W-4. If you have not watched the Quickstart videos, and we'll talk about that in a second, then follow along. And if you don't have the W-4 printed out, grab just a blank sheet of paper or something to take notes and then just follow along as we go and write down the information as it applies to you. And then you can get a printout of the W-4 and you can easily Google 2017 W-4 and pull it up and print it out and then transpose and actually put the numbers from the worksheet on the blank form and turn it in. So we're going to go through the W-4. Key point to talk about here, the W-4, and I'm going to enlarge this a little bit just so you understand why are we redoing the W-4? Well, the W-4 says we should be filling out the W-4 form so our employers know how much money to withhold from our taxes. So it says we want to redo the form at least at a minimum each year or when your personal or financial situation changes. Well, guess what? Your personal and now your financial situation will change because you now are a business owner. So that prompts you to update your W-4. Plus, we're going to fill it out the right way anyways because most people have never even filled out this worksheet and are taking the wrong number of allowances. So that's kind of what we want to do. So you always, at a minimum, once a year, you want to go back and revisit the W-4 based on your situation. Page 1 of the W-4 is all about your personal situation. It really doesn't have anything to do with the business. This piece is basically just based on your current situation. So as we go through this front part, I'm going to fill this out and use an example. As I fill this out, you're going to fill it out according to your situation, but I'm going to use an example of a single parent with 2 children making $50,000 a year. And so we'll just go through and complete this form. So going into the first one, Page 1, row A says enter 1 for yourself if no one else can claim you as a dependent. So for most people, you're going to get 1 there. An example I have, it'll be 1. Row B says enter 1 if you're single and have only 1 job. If you're married, have only 1 job and your spouse doesn't work, or if your wages from a second job or your spouse's wages is $1,500 or less. So if you're married and both spouses work, this doesn't apply. If you're single and you have 1 job, this applies. If you're single and you have 2 jobs, this doesn't apply. So it's only if you're married and one of you don't work, or if you're single and you have only 1 job. So in my example, that applies, single parent, 1 job. Row C says enter 1 for your spouse. If you're married, take the credit, take the additional allowance. The other language says you can choose to enter 0, but you want to get credit for having a spouse. So if you're married, you would enter 1. In this case, this person is single, so we're going to enter 0. Row D, enter number of dependents other than you or your spouse that you will claim on your tax return. So whatever you plan to claim on your tax return is what you would use. In this case, she has 2 dependents. E says enter 1 if you will file as head of household on your tax return. Now, I'm going to go back up here to the top and highlight head of household, because that's important to understand what that means. So I'm going to highlight this here and enlarge this text a little bit. So it says generally you can claim head of household. And this is really important because this is a common misconception that people have. So generally, you can claim head of household filing status on your tax return only if, number 1, you are unmarried, and number 2, pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for yourself, and number 3, your dependents or other qualifying individuals. So in order to claim head of household, all 3 of those conditions have to be met. You have to be unmarried, you have to pay more than 50% of the cost of taking up a home for yourself, and you have to have dependents. So if you're married, doesn't apply. If you don't have any dependents, doesn't apply. So really important to understand what filing head of household status means. So going back here, scrolling back down, under row E, it says enter 1 for head of household. In the example that I have, a single parent with 2 children, she qualifies, so she's going to list 1 as head of household. Row F says enter 1 if you have at least $2,000 of child or dependent care expenses for which you plan to claim a credit. Now let's talk about dependents, because dependents are your children, but there's also the IRS guidelines also distinguish dependents as someone that you're taking care of more than 50% of what's required, and it's someone that you intend to claim. So it could be considered someone elderly for taking care of an elderly parent, or if you have custody of your niece or something like that. And this dependent care expenses is things like daycare, latchkey. If your children are going to camp, so if your child is in someone's care for an extended period of time, then it would apply and you can count that. So that's $2,000 for the whole year. So in this case, she's got 2 children. She works, so her kids go to latchkey and daycare. So she's going to get that credit of 1. So we'll enter 1 there. Row G is the child tax credit. Now, if you don't have any dependents, then row F and G will be 0 for you. You can just put 0. Row G is the child tax credit. So this is based on 3 things. It's based on how much money you make annually, whether or not you're married, and how many children you have. So you have to think about all 3 of those. The first bullet is about someone who has an income less than $70,000 or $100,000 if married. If you make more than $70,000 or more than $100,000 married, this first bullet doesn't apply. Then you got to look at the second bullet. The second bullet says if your income is between $70,000 and $84,000 if single, or $100,000 and $119,000 if married. So first thing you got to do is look at how much money you make and see which one applies. Of course, if you make more than $84,000 and you're single, neither of these apply. So you're going to put a 0. Or if you make more than 119 combined, if you're married, neither one of these applies. You'll put 0. So first you got to look at that. So in my example, she makes $50,000 a year, so the first bullet applies, $50,000. She's single, so that's the number. Then it says enter 2 for each eligible child. So you got to look at how many children you have. So in her case, she has 2 children, so 2 for each eligible child is 4. But then it says then less or subtract 1 if you have 2 to 4 eligible children, or subtract 2 if you have 5 or more eligible children. So again, you have to look at how many children you have. In her case, she has 2 children, so she has to subtract 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. So she's going to enter 3 allowances. Now, if the second bullet applied, maybe she made more than $70,000. Maybe she made $75,000. Then it says just enter 1 for each child. In that case, she would just enter 2. So she would get 2 allowances instead of 3. So you have to look at how much money you make, how many children you have, and your marital status in order to be able to answer this question and do the math that it says based on the number of children that you have. Row H says we'll add lines A through G. So you're going to total up everything in A through G and enter the total here. In this case, when we add up everything in the example that I have, we have 9 allowances on this first page. So that is the personal allowances worksheet, and this is based on your own personal situation. And unfortunately, a lot of us filled out the W-4 just only based on the number of dependents you have, and that's incorrect. You have to actually fill out the worksheet to see truly what you're legitimately able to get. So that's page 1. Now we're going to talk about flip over to page 2, which is the business side of things. And unfortunately, some people don't even know that there's a page 2 to the W-4. This is where the business comes in. So this is an estimate, again, for the year of what your deductions and adjustments would be. So row 1 is really about itemized deductions. If you itemize in 2016, and most people who itemize are homeowners because you are allowed to get mortgage interest. You can write off your mortgage interest or your charitable deductions, your charitable contributions, or state and local taxes, medical expenses in excess of 10% of your income. So if you itemize, and if you're a homeowner and you're paying a mortgage and you have mortgage interest, most people will itemize because you get a greater return by doing that. If you did not itemize last year, you're going to just put a 0 here. If you did itemize last year, you would have filled out a Schedule A. You need to go back and look at your Schedule A and go down and look at, and it's on the 1040, and actually you can just go right to your 1040 that you filled out and go to row 40 of the 1040, and that will tell you the amount that you itemized. And you can pretty much use that same number unless something's changed, like if you don't own the home or something like that. So if you didn't itemize, put 0. If you did, you've got to go back and look at the 1040, row 40, to get the number that you use when you actually file your taxes. Now, I will give you guys a heads up. Some of these numbers are changing for 2018 with the tax laws that was just passed. So when we get our 2018 W-4, I would expect we're going to see some different numbers and some different pieces on this part of the W-4 based on some of the recent tax reform that's just happened with some of the new tax laws. So row 2 says enter $12,700 if married filing jointly. Enter $93.50 if head of household, or enter $63.50 if single or married filing separately. Pretty straightforward. Depending on your situation, enter the number here. So in this case, she's head of household. We're going to enter $93.50. Row 3 says subtract line 2 from line 1. If 0 less, enter 0. So if you say 0 minus $93.50, that gives you a negative number. And so in this case, we're going to put 0. So if you didn't itemize, and you got 0 in row 1, you're going to enter 0 in row 3. Row 4 says enter an estimate of your 2017 adjustments to income and any additional standard deduction. This is where the business comes in. This is where we tell the IRS, Uncle Sam, I am now a business owner, and the income that I make on my job, the business expenses that I have as a business owner, cannot be taxed. So what we do here is we tell Uncle Sam and the IRS what is our estimated business expenses for the year. Now, you're a new associate, so you don't know what that is, so we're going to help you, and we usually give you a conservative number. If you think about the presentation and we talk about all the different tax deductions that you can get, you can easily, because the IRS for 2017 pays 54.5 cents per mile. So if you drive your car, let's say 50 cents a mile for math purposes, and you drive your car 20,000 miles a year, that's $10,000. But let's say only 80% of that is business related. You can get $8,000 just on mileage alone if you drove your car 16,000 miles a year for business. That's $8,000 alone. That doesn't include some of the other things like meals and entertainment. It doesn't include travel and any other miscellaneous expenses, your $34.95 or your $9.95 rather that you just included for joining myEcon, and then your monthly $34.95. All those things are all considered business expenses that you're going to log on your app. So what we use in the Millionaire Society for row 4 is we use $8,100 as the initial estimate. And you'll see why we use that specific number in just a little bit. Now, sometimes when if you look at our corporate training, it says $4,050 as the estimate, which is even lower. And, you know, we believe in the Millionaire Society, if you plug in and you work with us and you're active in your business, you can definitely get $8,100. So that's the number that we put on row 4. Row 5 says add lines 3 and 4 together and enter the total. So that's going to be $8,100. Row 6 says enter an estimate of your 2017 non-wage income, such as dividends or interest. This is any money that you're getting from any sort of stocks or bonds or any sort of investments like that where you're getting a payout. This doesn't include 401k. So if you're investing and you're getting money paid out to you, then you have to include that amount. If not, you're going to enter 0. Row 7 says subtract line 6 from line 5. So 8,100 minus 0 is 8,100. Row 8 says divide the amount on line 7 by 4,050 and enter the result here. So this is why we use 8,100, because when you divide 4,050 into 8,100, it divides evenly into 2. So if you take 8,100 and divide it by 4,050, that gives you 2. Corporate uses 4,050, that gives you 1. So essentially what we're saying is you can get 2 additional allowances on your W-4 if you have $8,100 in business expenses. And so for every $4,050 you have in business expenses, that gives you 1 additional allowance on your W-4. So that's important to understand as you start to log your expenses and you go through the year logging your expenses of what that means. Row 9 says enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet, line H, page 1. So whatever total you had on page 1, you're going to bring that over and enter it here, which is, in this example, is 9. Row 10 says add lines 8 and 9 together and enter your total. So if you add lines 8 and 9 together, in this case, it's going to be 11. So this single mother or single parent with 2 children making $50,000 a year can get 11 allowances on her W-4. That is huge, ladies and gentlemen. That is what gives our people the kickstart to the road to financial freedom, getting that initial cash flow coming in by reducing the taxes that are coming out of your paycheck. Huge. So to complete the W-4, you got to flip back over to page 1. You got to scroll down to the bottom part of the worksheet, fill out this bottom part, and what you're going to put in row 5 is the total number of allowances that you have. Everything else, row 6 will be 0. You can leave row 7 blank, sign it, date it, and all you have to do is turn in the bottom part of the W-4. You do not have to turn in the whole worksheet. Keep the rest for your records to show how you got to your allowances. Now, I will let you guys know sometimes what happens with our associates, because our associates get anywhere from 4, I've seen as high as 15 allowances. So our associates get anywhere from 4 to 15 allowances on their W-4. And sometimes when we go to turn in our W-4, our employers, our HR or payroll department, they question you. And what you have to understand and realize is, unfortunately, they too are sometimes in the dark and don't understand and have never filled out a W-4 worksheet. And so they do not understand and may question that, why do you have as many allowances as you have? And all you have to do, because this is simply an agreement between you and the IRS, is say, I filled out the worksheet. The worksheet shows that I'm entitled to these allowances, and this is what I'd like to submit. They can't stop you. They can't tell you you can't, because this is an agreement between you and the IRS. So if you do encounter that situation, just let them know I filled out the worksheet. You don't have to share the worksheet with them. You don't have to show them. You simply have to turn in this bottom portion. But sometimes that happens. I just had that happen within the last week, where a new associate had someone challenge them on the allowances that they had. So just be aware of that in case it happens to you. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the W-4. I'm going to flip over and see if we have any questions in the chat. Doesn't look like it, so I'm going to keep moving. That's the W-4. Again, we have this training in the Quickstart video, so definitely leverage that, the Quickstart videos, to go through the W-4 again. So now I'm going to flip over to a tool that we created in the Millionaire Society. So for those of you experienced associates who've gone through Quickstarts before, what we've done is we've created a 1-pager, or really a 2-pager. And this actually, we combined several other documents that we've been using in the Millionaire Society into one document. And I'll post this in our Millionaire Society Facebook page so you have it to download. But essentially, this is our lightning start document. This is a step-by-step guide for you as a new associate of what you need to do to get started in your business. And it's broken down on things you should do when you first sign up, day 1, things you should do within the first week, and things you should do in the first 30 days. So this document for our existing associates, this is a combination. We took the new associate checklist that you guys have seen. We took the load the basis document and the 3 is the key document, and we merged them into one document so that during our quick start process, we don't have as many different documents that we have to give to our new associates. So this combines all 3 of those documents into one. So step 1, when you first join, first thing that you have to do is go into your welcome email. When you first join myEcon, you got a welcome to myEcon email, and it had on it a link to your website and a temporary password. You've got to go click on that link, log in using that temporary password, and change your new password. That's the first step. Then you need to go and download both myEcon apps. We have 2 apps that you should have downloaded, the Cash Flow Manager app and the myEcon Business app. So I'm going to flip over real quick to the website. Once you do your initial login, this is the site that you're going to be brought to. This is called the Business Management Center, or the BMC, also referred to as your back office. So when you hear someone say go to your back office, that's you logging onto your website. And if you click on it, you will see where we see the green box that says Quick Start Orientation, and then if you scroll down a little bit, it's the new mobile app. If you click on the new mobile app, that's going to give you a link that you can go to download the app, or you can simply go to either the App Store if you have an iPhone, or Google Store, Google Play, and just do a search for myEcon, and the apps will be there as well. So you've got 2 ways that you can download the apps, but either way will get you there. So you got to download those apps. Then the next thing you need to do is adjust the W-4 with your upline EVP and submit to employer. So that's what we just covered. We just went over the W-4. So get that filled out, turn that in right away. As crazy as it seems, some people wait to turn this in. It's like, why are you waiting to turn in your W-4? For every day you don't turn it in is a day that you're missing getting that increase in your paycheck by reducing the taxes that are coming out of your paycheck. So get that turned in right away. Then we want to set up the myEcon Cash Flow Manager and log the initial sign-up fee. So there's two ways that you can log your expenses. You can log your expenses through the app, which I think most people use, or you can log the expenses through the website. The app is much easier because you can take pictures of receipts and log them. The website you can do as well, but it doesn't have the camera feature of being able to take pictures leveraging your phone, your smartphone's camera, to capture your receipts so you can log your expenses. You want to watch the Quickstart orientation on the myEcon app. So when you download the myEcon app, there's a page that says Quickstart orientation that you can click on that has a series of videos. I'll show you what it looks like on the website. So I'm going to go back and go back to the home page, and then you'll see here, if I scroll up, you will see Quickstart orientation. So on the Quickstart orientation, and again, this is also on the app, there's a series of videos. There are 9 total videos ranging anywhere from 2 minutes in length to 16 minutes, but a total of an hour and a half. Guys, it's critical that you watch each and every one of these videos. This covers a lot of the information I'm reviewing tonight, but it covers even more. And it's a great way to get you up to speed on the basic foundation of myEcon. So if you've not done that and you just signed up within the last week or so, make sure that you watch those quick start videos. Very important. All right, going back to the checklist. And the last thing that you want to do when you first sign up is you want to actually set up direct deposit in your back office. So you want to go in and get your direct deposit set up, because that's how you're going to get paid as you start to build your business and make money through myEcon. So it'll take a minute for that to get going with the bank, working with your financial institution and myEcon. So definitely go ahead and get that started. And then that's it really for the first day. Now I'm going to show you really quickly. I'm going to hit one thing to show you how to go to the cash flow manager, and then we'll switch over to the business building side. So I'm going to show you from the website, but you can also do this from your actual cash flow manager app. So once you download the app, you'll log in using the same login information that you did on your website. So I'm going to go here to Financial Success Membership. And this Financial Success Membership page is everything that you have at your disposal as part of the $34.95 a month that you're going to be paying. So it's definitely advantageous for you to click on here and spend some time on this page. We have our Smart Money Kit, which is our do-it-yourself credit repair. Spend some time going through those modules and understanding what you need to do. Even if you have fairly good credit, it doesn't hurt to run through this process and see if you can improve it even more. Unless you have absolutely perfect credit, I would recommend you going through this module and leveraging the steps to try to increase your credit score. ID Defender and Key Logging Defense System. This is our identity theft protection. Go in and set this up. Protect your assets, protect your money, protect your identity. As we know, everything is being compromised, so go in and set that stuff up. We have Legal Club. If you need legal assistance, leverage the resource there. If you need tax advice and preparation, you can leverage it there. As well as our Cashback Mall. That's a way for you to join the Cashback Mall, shop online, and a lot of people are doing that this time of year, but you can also get a rebate off your purchases and, as an associate, earn commission off of it. So be your own customer there. But I'm going to click on the Cash Flow Manager, because this is what you need to log your expenses. And here's a really important for our new associates to understand. The IRS says this: if I'm going to, and this is Uncle Sam saying, if I'm going to give you all these tax breaks and allow you to write off thousands of dollars a year in business expenses, you've got to make sure, number one, that you are working the business. Really important. You've got to show an intent to make a profit, is what the IRS says. And also, the IRS says you have to keep good records. And so what that means is you've got to keep a log of your expenses. So when you go to do your taxes, if you say, I had in 2017 $15,000 worth of business expenses. Well, you've got to be able to show that via a log of all of your expenses. So the beauty is we've got that through the cash flow manager. So the first thing that you have to do as a new associate is go in and create a new cash flow manager. So you would click on this button here to set up a new one. Now, as you can see, I've got several of them set up. Some of them are samples, but one is for myEcon, and then also I have another one for my rental property. If you have other businesses, you could absolutely log and track those other businesses separate and set up a cash flow manager for them. So you can do multiple ones, but at a minimum, you should have one set up for myEcon. So you just click on Create New Cash Flow Manager, give it a name, hit Save, and then it's going to take you to the dashboard. So I'm going to go back out to the one that I have that I use as a sample for training. So if I pull up this one here, once you click on it, you're going to be brought to your dashboard. And this is where you want to enter the expenses that you have, business expenses, and you also want to enter the money that you make as you start to grow your business and get income. Because at the end of the year, you're going to tell the IRS, this is how much I made in income and this is how much I spent in expenses, which we call a profit and loss statement. And we'll be doing training on that sometime probably the beginning of the year in January as we start to look at tax time. So let's talk about how to enter an expense. So you just paid $9.95 to join myEcon. So let's talk about how you log that expense. So you're going to select the expense type at the top, drop down and select a category. These are all some of the common expense categories. So let's select fees. The date is the date that you joined myEcon. So whatever date that was you want to put there, we'll leave it for today. The amount is what you paid, which is the $9.95. The who is who did you pay the expense to. So we're going to put myEcon here. So what is the expense? In this case, it is the Financial Success Membership. The where is where did you make the purchase? Now, if you're at a restaurant, you would put like Red Robin, you would put the location of the place. But in this case, we can just say, sometimes people say corporate. I'm going to say online because most people enroll online. And then the notes is usually your business purpose. That's where you want to put your business purpose. If this is a meal that you're logging, you want to say in the notes, who did you have that meal with? Who were you with? Because the IRS says that you have to be entertaining clients in order to get a tax write-off for a meal or doing something related to your business. So you want to put the business purpose there. In this case, we can just say monthly or registration fee or startup fee, something like that. Now, because this is only $9.95, you're going to enter this only once because the next month that comes around will be $34.95. But what you can do, and then what you can do if you're on your cell phone, when it says upload a new receipt image, you want to go to your Welcome to myEcon email, and if you're doing this from your cell phone, just take a screenshot. Take a screenshot from your phone to show that dollar amount and use that as your receipt to upload. Mileage we won't talk about. You can go over the mileage in the training, and that's covered in the training. But when you do this, when you set up your monthly fee, you're going to put monthly as your recurrence for the $34.95. We're not going to do that this time because it's a one-time deal for the $9.95, but when you do this for next month and you go to log your expenses when you pay that $34.95, you can set it up as a recurrent payment on a monthly basis and then tell it the date on when to do the next entry. And now all you would have to do is just validate that, yep, it's still legitimate expense and upload your receipt for that month. So really, you don't have to rekey in or retype all of this information. I'm not going to put anything here. And then all you have to do is click Save. So it's a pretty straightforward process. The key, guys, is to get yourself in the habit of logging your expenses on a daily basis. Go back through the training to understand the different common things that you can write off. The day that you join myEcon is the day that you should be logging your expenses. And so if you haven't done so yet, go back to that date and make sure you're logging all those things that you're doing relative to the business. The key for logging your expenses, and I can't stress the importance of this is doing it on a timely fashion. Don't let yourself get behind. And then 2, log everything. The more active you are in the business, the more you can write off. So the more deductions you have, the more things that you're writing off, the less taxes you have to pay, the more money you bring home. So do yourself a favor and don't leave money on the table by not logging your expenses, because that's in essence what you're doing if you're not keeping good records. So that is the quick version of the cash flow manager training. Again, if you guys plug in on a regular basis, we have this training through our Quickstart videos. We do training in our various, in person in Detroit, in Indianapolis, in Atlanta, in Chicago, we in North Carolina. We've got different groups all over the United States to see how you can plug in and get training beyond just what's online. All right. So that's how you get started there. Now let's talk about how to make some money in this business. So you as a new associate, someone introduced you to myEcon, and you were able to take advantage of joining myEcon for $9.95, or potentially some people may not have paid anything, and they've got a coupon. Well, now you as a new associate, it is your turn to pay it forward to at least 3 people. Someone blessed you with this opportunity, so it's only right that you pay it forward and try to bless other people, especially during this promo where it's only $9.95 to join. So we want to help you. The beauty is we're going to help you get your business off to a start, because the way that this promo is set up, it's $9.95 through January 13th, and for every 3 people that you sign up to join myEcon, for every 3 people that join and they pay their next monthly fee of $34.95, you will get $100. So imagine this. If you got 12 people to join myEcon during this promo and they all paid their $34.95 next month, you would get a check from myEcon for $400, because it's for every 3 people you get $100. So you would be positioned to get yourself $400 up front, not to mention if those people start to build as well, you could be getting residual income off of their monthly fee as well starting in January. So we not only want to help you.
They're going to be all right.
Somebody, I think, has unmuted themselves. If you are talking in the background, please go ahead and mute your line. All right, we got somebody talking in the background. Please go ahead and mute your line. Somehow you have muted your All right, let me do this. All right, I had to remute everybody again. Somebody somehow took themselves off of mute. All right, so our goal for you new associates is to help you get your first 3 people. You will hear this term over and over again, 3 is the key. 3 is the key is essentially our way for you to pay it forward to 3 people and bless them with the opportunity to become an entrepreneur so that they too can get on the road to financial freedom. And I know that as you guys are hearing this information, you probably are thinking about other people, your loved ones, friends and family, that could benefit from these strategies. And so what you want to do is where we are now in step 2 on this checklist, 3 is the key. So what you want to start out doing to get your business up to a start is to make a contact list of at least 30 contacts. We're talking about friends, family members, church members, co-workers, Facebook friends. I think it would be easy for most people to come up with a list of 30 people that you can share with. Now, I will tell you, not everybody that you add on your list will have the mindset shift ready to do something different and get on the road to financial freedom and will not take advantage of this opportunity. So, out of 30 people, some people will not be interested, but what we're going to do is take that contact list and do what we call make 3-way calls with our upline. And our goal with that is to at least get 10 people. Out of those 30 people in your contact list, get 10 people to be able to see the presentation. So we want to get on the phone with your upline and allow a more seasoned person to help you share the information with myEcon. Your job is just to put that contact list together. That's your only responsibility. Then you would set up time with your upline, and you can get through that list of 30 people, guys, in probably an hour or just a little bit over an hour, because the three-way calls to initially share myEcon with people, those calls probably take about 5 minutes long. And so our goal is to allow the upline person, the more experienced person in myEcon, to do the talking, because you're new. You can't really elaborate and explain myEcon, so allow us, those who are more experienced, to help you build your business. That's our job, is to really help you get off to a quick start. So you put your contact list together. We make some three-way calls. We invite them to hear the presentation. We have many different ways for people to get this information, guys. You saw the schedule. We do online presentations. We have our nightly ones at 9 p.m. We're doing some in person. We have our MaximumCashflow.com, which has been revamped, our website that you can send people to if their schedules are hectic. They work midnights. They're not, they can't make a scheduled time. Send them to MaximumCashflow.com. We've revamped the site. It's excellent. If you have not seen it, check it out. It's John and James did a fantastic job of revamping the site. Check that out. We've gotten the presentation down, guys, to 15 minutes. 15 minutes. And this is, again, moving with speed to quickly get them an overview and an introduction to myEcon so that they can make a decision as to whether or not they want to join. So our goal is to get them to the presentation, whether it's in person, online, or we can even leverage the app. We actually can have people go in. We have a recorded presentation on the app that they can listen to. And so from those 10 people, if you get a contact list of 30, we should be able to get 10 people to see the presentation. And of those 10 that see the presentation, at least a minimum of 3 of them will make a decision to join. And this is just kind of doing some simple math of about, out of 30 people, when you do the math, about 10% of the people that we have identified as contacts will end up joining myEcon. So if you put together a contact list of 30, we guarantee you 3 new associates, and if those associates join and they pay their $34.95, you're going to get $100 come February is when the payout is going to be done. So really important, guys, I'm telling you, I've run this play no less than a few hundred times, and this works. You get your EVP on the phone, and the EVP, you announce the EVP, and I'm actually going to go down to the second page here because this kind of goes into detail of how that process works. So we call this the lightning start, or also affectionately known as load the bases, because this mirrors the game of baseball. So you think about it, when you join, you create your warm market, you're starting at home plate. From there, you're going to make your 3-way calls, put your contact list together, make the 3-way call. You're going to edify your upline. All you're going to do is just set the time up, get on the phone, make an introduction, say hello to the person, minimize the small talk, say hello, how are you? Hey, and then we've got a script here on this document. Hey, Ray, how are you? I'm calling you because I recently got involved with this organization that's showing people how to use a concept called income shifting, which has helped me increase my cash flow. I have my business partner on the line, James Anderson, and would you mind taking a moment to speak with him? And then they'll say, yes, I have time, or no. If they say no, we reschedule to a time that works for them. If they say yes, okay, great. I have James here. And then what you want to do there is edify your upline EVP. James has been helping families across the United States get on the road to financial freedom. He's personally helping me cash flow, increase my cash flow, and he's in a position to be able to help you as well. James, are you there? And now you let the upline EVP take over. Your job is done. All you did is you got the contact list together, you set up the time to make the 3-way calls, you do the initial introduction, and you pass it on to the upline, and they take it from there. And they're going to invite the person to the presentation and schedule the follow-up. So second base is seeing the presentation, third base is the follow-up, making sure that they, that we set up a time, which is really important. So once we set up a time for the presentation, if they're going to hop on at 9 on the webinar at 9 o'clock tonight, Eastern, then we're going to talk to them right after the webinar. So we're going to call you about 9:35. So you want to commit to a time and don't want to leave it open-ended, because our job is to get through this quickly. We want to get them through all the way to home plate to make a decision as quickly as possible, inside of a couple of days even, or a day potentially, depending on that person's schedule. So we want to move through this quickly and set up that next time. And sometimes, depending on the time of day, I'll say let's set the three-way call up, the follow-up call that same day if we're talking to them earlier in the day. So that is how the process works. When they join, they're going to repeat this process. So just imagine if you did this and you got 3 people to join. What if all 3 of those people got 3 people to join? Now you're in a position to get $400 upfront income, plus you're going to get residual off of all of those people that went and did the same play. So if they start to run the same play and they get 3 people to join, not only will you be getting upfront income in February, you're going to get residual income as well, and you will be well on your way to the next promotion. 2 people, if you introduce myEcon to 2 people, you get promoted to EVP. And that opens up what we call your base shop. That third person, now you get the $100 if they pay another pay in January. And if they start going to work and building their teams, now you're going to look at getting residual income as well. So it's a great opportunity during this promo, because at $9.95, just like you, other people would be open to it, even though it's in the midst of the holiday season. They're going to be looking for ways to start to get their money back, because they're spending a lot of it this holiday season. So leverage this opportunity during this promo to quick start your business and get off to a good start. And what better way to come out of this promo having not only $200 to $1,000 from cutting your taxes, but now you also are in a position to get some additional income, and now you are starting to build your business, getting the team off to a good start. And leveraging people like myself and some of the other leaders in the Millionaire Society to help you do this. The key for you is to try not to tell everything about myEcon yourself. Where I've seen people get in trouble with this is when they start to try to explain everything themselves, and they're not doing a good job of it because you're still learning. So while you're learning the business, allow us to help you and leverage us as leaders to help you grow your business. All of us within the Millionaire Society leadership, we work with people, even people who are not necessarily in our downline. But our goal is to help you be successful. So, folks, I tell you, I've run this play hundreds of times. I probably grew the size of my team by at least 80 people running this play over and over. It's a simple process. It's repeatable. It's easy, and it works like clockwork if you apply it. So if you plug in, we will definitely help you get your business off to a good start without you having to do a ton of work. All right, we're just about done. So just going back to the checklist, going back up to page 1. So week 1 is all about getting your business off the start. Let's get you set up, get your W-4 turned in, start logging your business expenses, watch those videos, and let's get busy building your business. The last thing that you need to do in step 2 is to order your business cards and your brochures, and you can find those in your back office. We have templates for your business cards. We also have brochures. Those are excellent things to use as you start to talk to people about myEcon. If you're out and about during a holiday, you're going to be seeing friends and family. Tell them that you'd love for them to hear about an opportunity to put some more money back into their pockets, and schedule that 3-way call. And tell them I'd love to follow up with you and give you a call with my business partner or my mentor to talk more about it. You don't have to go into a lot of detail at the event. Just keep it simple, pique their interest, and set that up, follow back up, and now you're good to go. If you run that play, guys, you will be successful. I personally have run this play over and over again, and it's helped me get to where I am in the organization with a team well over 100 people. All right, step 3, build and grow. First month, as you get in, you got to plug in the training. Super important. You can't grow if you don't learn. So plug into the training. We have live training throughout the United States. We have corporate training several times a week. We have online training that we do in the Millionaire Society. We have training on demand through your back office. There's many, many, many ways to get yourself educated, really important to your personal success as well as the success of your business. The cash flow strategist, I won't go into any detail there. Home parties are a good way to do it. Invite some folks over. Even during this promo, you could even expedite this piece of it. Invite some folks over to your house and have a home party and bring them together. Some people feel more comfortable in a more informal setting. That's a great way. I've done it, and it really helped me kickstart my business having one. And then keep adding to your list. We don't stop at just 30. 30 is just to get you quick started, but as you continue to go through your Facebook contacts, your phone contacts, continue to build that list up. 100 is a good number because now you can continue to have steady business activity. And then we have our personal cash flow plan, which is our 8-step roadmap to financial freedom, which we'll be training on in some subsequent training. So that's kind of month 1. But as a new associate, where you want to focus is day 1 and week 1. Get yourself set up, positioned to win, allow us to help you win, get that money turned in, get that money coming in through the W-4, and get the money coming in through the business. And what way? Just imagine in a month's time, you could easily clear yourself a good $1,000 to $1,500 in a 30-day window by running these plays in day 1 and week 1. Get your business off the ground, get some money coming there, and get the money coming in from your W-4. How cool would that be? And now you've got a testimony that you can then share with other people to show them how myEcon is working from you within the first 30 days. So that's all I have, folks. We're at 8 o'clock. Any questions, hit *6 to unmute. I'll open it up for a few minutes for questions or put something in the chat. *6 to unmute your line. All right, good people. Again, welcome to myEcon. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. If you have any questions, please follow up with the person that introduced you, or you have myself. You can post in the Millionaire Society. I'm assuming most of you are part of the Millionaire Society on Facebook. If you're not, then just follow up with your upline person that brought you in. And here's to your financial freedom. And welcome to the road and the journey of financial freedom. Have a good night.